2. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 is a deceptive yet beautiful smartphone. Foldable, shall I say. Now, here's the reality. CJ, why would you call it deceptive? Or why would there be any tactic of deception inside of the Z Fold 6? We're gonna get straight into it, right? The deception is obvious. If you look over here and right here, if you are someone who does not know which is which, can you tell me which is which? And this is 3 years, 3 generations of a foldable device. I need my non-tech people who are shopping Z Folds. Can you tell me which is which? Do you know what numbers are in front of you, or do they all look essentially the same? For those who don't know, this is the Galaxy Z Fold 4, and this right here is the Galaxy Z Fold 5. And this right here is the Galaxy Z Fold 6. But you also said beautiful, CJ. Absolutely. This is a beautifully well-designed Z Fold model. I have the crafted black, which if you guys can see up close, it has a nice, it's like a smooth yet textured backing that's very non-fingerprint prone. I gotta give props to Samsung. A lot of people have been asking me about fingerprints. As you guys can see, literally, I do not wipe this thing down, and it's very anti-fingerprint prone. That's the beauty. There's more to the beauty of this device. We finally have a flush closure. I spoke about this in my first impression. Some of these things I'm gonna go back over because they were a part of why I had such excitement and embracement of this device. Although, we're gonna keep it real and funky around here as we do. Not much has changed. And you probably are like, hey, but CJ, iPhone users buy the same looking device year after year. 100,000%. This is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's probably gonna look the same as the 16 Pro Max, as it looks very similar to the 13 Pro Max. Since the beginning, basically. What about Samsung users? Samsung is where Apple users like me go to play with new and innovative technology. This is innovative though. Let's not get that twisted. This is very much innovative. I have a larger phone that folds down to a smaller phone and does it well. Honestly, with Samsung not changing the design, is this Samsung saying that they feel that this design is the best and they no longer need to make any improvements or adjustments? Or are they wrong? You know what I mean? Is that the deception? Because in the presentation of the Z Fold 6, the only arguments or changes or things that can be spoken of over the older one obviously are going to be processor improvements. A big one was Galaxy AI, a screen brightness improvement, and a few other features that add to the refinement of this device. This model is very much refined in the right way. That's why when I first got it, like people were like, oh, you geeking out, you being a little too. No, this is worth appreciating the design of. This is worth appreciating the evolution to a degree, because it has evolved in this form factor to a great place. But there are still features and key changes that could really take this device to the next level. And no, I'm not just talking about making the outer display wider, making this device bigger. That's one of them, but even outside of that, right? Think about this. You can use an S Pen, a Fold Edition S Pen with this device, but you can't use it on the cover panel. Why not? Why not? I know this is not the main panel, but people who are S Pen users would love to use it here, because honestly, having S Pen access, I've said this in the past, would make navigating this slimmer panel outer screen so much easier and accurate. Now, some people are like, oh, I got big hands, I'm just fine. Listen, I get typos crazy. I feel claustrophobic on this outer panel. That's just how I feel, me, personally. Again, if you make this wider, I don't feel that's claustrophobic on the front panel. Yes, I'm still going to open it to the bigger panel. Let's not get it confused. I'm here majority of the time on the Z Fold. So those people are gonna be typing in the comments, unfold, I do. But there's a lot of times where I just want to quickly interact here, but the experience, the user experience isn't as good. Like, you don't always want to unfold the Z Fold. Sometimes you just want to handle things here, and I get it. It's a stopgap to going here, but I personally feel like the wider panel, after experiencing that on a different foldable, it made a world of a difference. And again, we don't have to make it wider and taller. You also have the option, Samsung, of just folding it instead of the long way, folding it the short way. You can keep your same design, compact things. I don't know, maybe it may not work that way, but this folded in half, I think would be the way that I get, or we get, the people who are asking for a wider outside panel. But it's this way and it's folded that way, and you get the proper horizontal screen that everyone's gonna use. Everyone holds their device like this when watching videos. If you hold it like this, I mean, you're not getting the full experience, but you do get the one-handed use. I'm not saying that the one-handed use is not what should be here. I think it's a great aspect, and you guys have spoken. You guys, a lot of people like the narrowness of this device. But I'm telling you, even if it got a little wider, it wouldn't be that bad. At least not in my opinion. So another thing adding to that deception is the exact same battery as the previous year. Why? Because the design did not change. It would only have to get bigger in order for a bigger, larger battery to live in there. We seen that proven with this Galaxy Watch Ultra. Watch 6 Classic had to get bigger, or shall we say more square, and lose the rotating bezel, but we ain't gonna go there. You guys watch my other videos about that. Just, the outer panel just has to get wider. We get bigger battery, and we maybe could get an S Pen. That would be really dope. But okay, that's the point of deception. Is, I mean, we've been going at this for a handful of years, and that says it all. Now, let me move on to user experience with this device, because it's actually been very, very pleasant. I love using this thing. I love foldable devices. That's why I'm so critical, because I just want the fold of my dreams. And yes, it could be a Fold Ultra variant. That's fine. Give us 2, Samsung. Yeah, I enjoy using this thing. This is where I'm at right here. When I'm answering you guys' comments, I'm right here with it. Hold on, let me see. Let me go up in here. We gotta make sure there ain't no crazy comments though. Okay, yeah, boom. I'm here. Look how great the screen real estate is for reading, especially those longer comments, and it's so easy to reply. I'm at the Samsung clipboard with certain replies. I just love replying to my YouTube comments on this device. And you have to admire how great, how well delivered this OLED panel is, or AMOLED, shall we say. Samsung has a great screen, great colors, great accuracy, great delivery, great interaction, great technology. The fact that you can fold this level of quality of screen, you get another one, and you can unfold it. Yes, you see the crease. People wondering, do you see a crease? Yes, you can see a crease. Did it improve over last year's? It did. Or it didn't, because you can still see it. The only improvement to the crease would be no crease. But is no crease possible? I think we've seen it happen on other foldable devices. And that's my point. You know, when the competition is so stiff in the foldable market, you have to compete. This screen is phenomenal. And I'm sure it's the screen that's probably being sold to or being manufactured in a different light for a lot of those other foldables. So I showed you guys how great HDR content looks on this device in the first video that I made. I didn't speak about the speakers though. I love watching content on here. I've been literally sitting, chilling on the couch watching YouTube on here while the television is being watched of something else. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna pull up YouTube, right? I'm gonna do my thing over here.
In February of 2023.
So the speakers here and here. So I tend to hold it on this side, put the speakers up so that way my hands aren't blocking it. Or if I'm on TikTok with it, I'm holding it like this. Understand, I appreciate the size of this and the one-handed factor, because watching TikTok, I can get like this. But typically when it's unfolded, two hands on, swipe, swipe, you know what I mean? Boom. Let's just say I want to do that here.
Chill. No, chill for what? Who is this man? Like, he makes chill. No, chill for what?
You know, this isn't the best orientation or the best ratio for consuming content, but it's usable and it's doable. But ultimately, the overall package of the Z Fold is actually a great foldable package. I never said that the Z Fold wasn't great. I've never said that. I just want what I want as a consumer and as a dreamer of tech, and I just want to see it come to fruition. It may or it may not ever come. Performance. I mean, come on. They got these Snapdragons for Galaxy now. Very optimized in terms of Samsung devices, Samsung's overlays, with and in partnership with Snapdragon. So the optimization that we've seen since, what was it, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 all the way here, what's this, Gen 3, has always been good in that consistency. Performance is just fine. I'm gonna have to do a little gaming something. Actually, maybe I'll put a clip in, I'll pull up some gaming, I'll game on here, play some COD Mobile or something, put on my backbone, and let's just see what it's all about, especially with this size of a panel. You know, I'm very much into mobile gaming. I have the gaming handhelds that I covered on the channel, if you guys wanna check that out. And I wanna cover, you know, smartphones around gaming. Again, I'll show you guys a segment of that. I haven't had any issues. This thing is smooth as butter, as I like to say, and very well optimized. And speaking on that, we might as well talk about it. Let's talk about it. Battery life on the Z Fold 6. Unfortunately, the battery is no bigger. So, scientifically, what more can you expect? The only thing Samsung and Snapdragon can do is optimize, you know, the freak out of this to try to get as much battery as possible. Everyone's battery life is 100% subjective to the user, their settings, and their usage patterns. For me, the Z Fold 6 battery is solid. I'm getting through a day. I can get through my day. Matter of fact, this right here, I'm at 38%. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been heavy on it today, but this is a continuance from yesterday. So I charged it up. It was midpoint of the day. I'm at the midpoint portion of the day when I choose to charge, because typically I'm going into, you know, like the next day. I'm not doing a late night charge. I do a different charge, you know, rhythm to keep it so that I'm charging when I'm awake. I don't charge my phones overnight, if that makes sense. So, and I never charge it to 100%. It's always like 97, 98. I have it set on battery care, not the aggressive one that only allows it to go to like 85 and cuts it off, but it slows it down once it gets to, I think, 95%. It slows it down aggressively, and usually I'm pulling it off right there, just to maintain, you know, good battery health. Battery life and having a conversation of what's good battery life on the phone is kind of, it's tit for tat, because everyone is so different. There's no way I, as one person, can tell you how well this battery will be. I know there's those more scientific battery tests that are done by like Phone Buff. I would recommend watching those and seeing those. And if you're wondering what my usage is like, I'm not a heavy user. I'm more on semi-heavy to medium style of usage, because a lot of times I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm doing other things. You know, I get on here, I answer a bunch of comments, I watch YouTube videos and consume, you know, media, which is a drainer on battery. I am consistently on here, you know, I get caught up in the death scroll of TikTok where you just locked in going. So I use my device. I'm on that medium heavy user, semi-heavy user, shall I say. I'm not a heavy user though. It should get bigger. It should accommodate heavier users. It should improve and innovate. It should get bigger. I have to throw that in there, but it's a solid battery for what it is. Let's get into another hot topic. Cameras. Now in my previous video, I took raw video, raw photo, you know, I did pro video, and I just did it. Like I didn't, you know, put any extra effort. It was raw, it was rough, it was rugged. I showed you guys, unedited it, and then I edited it, or corrected it, shall I say, so that you guys can see how far off or the difference and why I have gripes with Samsung cameras, especially with brown skin tones. Melanated people, bro. Like, come on, Samsung. We buy your phones too. And I'm not, being controversial when I say that. I'm just asking for inclusivity in this algorithm of yours, or a reprogramming, a recalibration of the photo algorithm in this device. Because on any day, I can snap a picture of myself, right? Like today. Or a portrait. I shouldn't have to go to Pro Photo and Pro Video every time in order to get solid results. Now I'm gonna flip it to the rear. I'm just gonna take a photo. A regular one, right? Hand up. Wait. One more. Oh, hold on. I didn't like that one. Hold on. Let's do it again. And I'm going to take a portrait. Hand up. Come on. You see my hand. I'm going to show you guys raw, out of camera, and then I'm going to correct it because I know it's going to need correcting. Every Samsung camera needs correcting when it comes to brown skin tones. Even my Pro photos and Pro video on the Z Fold 6, they weren't flattering fresh out of camera, which is odd because typically when I use Pro Photo and Pro Video, I get, according to Samsung, the white balance should be 4900K. All of my lights are 5200 Kelvin, so I'm not understanding. So I'm gonna take a photo at 4900K. I'm gonna put up 4 so I know, and then I'm going to switch that white balance to 5200 Kelvin. I'm gonna hold up my hand and I'm gonna leave a 5 up. So that way we know that was that. I probably look crazy because I'm like, oh no, actually, okay. So if you look here, I don't know if it's gonna come over on camera, 2 different color results. Again, the screen, when you look at photos, and I tend to shoot raw photos, and that's good because that's the most information, the best that those photos can offer. The screen adds I guess it adds like a viewing filter to it. So what you see on here is not what the photo actually is once you text it, send it, or load it into your editing software. That's why I'm the way that I am when I talk about Samsung cameras. And it's not even just skin tones, it's just accurate color capture. You see, I'm gonna turn this way and I'm gonna shoot because then I'm giving myself the best opportunity. I'm up close on the light, right? First and foremost, right now I'm shooting, I believe, 4K, 24 frames per second. This camera can also shoot 8K, so I'm gonna switch it over to the 8K. Right now I'm up on my lighting source. This is how you give a camera lens its best opportunity to show you what it can do. I'm also gonna turn off this studio light. I'm gonna show you what it possibly maybe can't do as far as low light goes. So let's switch over to 8K. And this right here is 8K Samsung quality Pro Video mode. I have all of my settings controlled. This is the best way you get the best results. This is my way of fixing the camera, or in phone, shall I say, without me having to necessarily go into any editing software. At least me getting it as close as possible to what I believe the results should be. Again, sometimes I still have to further correct it, but this is 8K video out of the Z Fold 6, and it should be impressive. Now, what I want to do is turn off this studio light right here. I'm going to turn off this light. We are still shooting 8K, 24 frames per second in a low lit situation with ISO being introduced. ISO can be problematic. The more you introduce it, the more noise. But at this point, we should see fairly decent low lit situation. And when I say low light, I'm not talking about dark low light. I'm talking about like similar to what you would have in your home if you just turned on a regular light. That's basically the type of lighting situation I'm in right now. So again, my issues are more around capturing myself. I'm not seeing myself represented in the camera, but if I shoot items and products and things like that, right? All right, so right here, we're shooting the Galaxy Watch Ultra with the Pro Video mode. This is 8K quality. I'm giving you guys the best that this thing can offer. And it's going to look good. it should look good. It better look good because I'm shooting a non-face. I think it switches when it's a face and when it's just other things. I think there's different algorithms. Obviously, this is all processing. The difference between phone cameras and real cameras is the fact that there's a lot of software and AI and HDR and all that stuff involved. Processing, basically. There's a ton more processing happening in order to achieve essentially a falsified look. It's not really the true look of what's happening. It's an altered reality. Google has a really great algorithm for brown skin tones, and that's why I'm lost, because it's like Google Android, Samsung uses Android. It has to build its whole infrastructure on top of Android. Google has an initiative that addresses brown skin tones, but it doesn't cross over into Samsung. Make it make sense. I'm going to move on now. All right, now that we're off of that whole camera tangent that I just went on, let me talk about user experience, which is the collective of everything, right? When I collectively look at the price point that I paid for said item, I look at what was advertised to me, I use it, and I just experience it with my everyday user-like ways. I'm able to achieve the majority of all that I want to achieve on this device. I can watch and consume media extremely well. I get a good battery life for my usage. I enjoy the quality and the build quality and the design of this. I enjoy the way that it feels in the hand. I enjoy using this device. When I get into taking photos, or even if I do choose to take photos or video with this device, I'm not gonna be as confident or as satisfied. And that's just that, which is probably why I wouldn't grab this one to take the photo or the video. You know, I keep an iPhone and an Android on me at all times. I'm gonna reach for the iPhone to take the photos and videos. But if I put that aside, I put, you know, my gripes or my requests not being met as far as what I believe would make this Z Fold better, which would be, I guess, the Z Fold Ultra. You know, increasing the wider panel on the outside and giving us a bigger battery and possibly an S Pen inside, S Pen support on the front panel, things like that, right? And this camera system should be this camera system. This is the S Ultra device, and this thing is a lot better as far as the cameras go. Battery life, bigger battery, 5,000 milliamp hours. It's a good, actually a better user experience in the term of smartphone usage and utility. But this just can't give you what this can. And from a productivity, business perspective, this is the better device in general, at least in my opinion. I love the Z Fold 6. I love the Z Fold. I want it to get better, just like if I loved a person and there were things about them that I felt they should get better at, I'm going to encourage them to become a better person, which is why I encourage Samsung to become a better Samsung.
I rise and I wake and I gotta go get it. I'm making my bed and it's straight to the digits. Nope.
Ooh, hey, yo, that line right there, boy, that was fire. I'm trolling. Y'all get it now, Samsung Knights? You know what I mean? Y'all still gonna pull out y'all swords. Y'all still gonna get mad. If I don't sit here and glaze the Z Fold, y'all gonna be tight. You know why? Because you're just as much a fanboy of Samsung as anyone who is a fanboy of Apple. Swallow the truth.
Up a joke cause this is acidic, so I take a shot with the lemon and ginger. Look in the mirror like, yeah, I'm that. Look in the mirror like, I'm fitted. Looking outside like the world is all mine. Look in the mirror like, go get it. I gotta get to the scene, I gotta get to the bag now. I can't be chasing on these. They getting, they feeling and dragged down. That's why they just crash out. Stuck in the cell and this man down. Life getting gone in a flash now. Spinning and I'ma stand out.